Welcome back, everyone. We have another first on the channel today. We will be touring an English Premier League soccer stadium. I'm very excited about it, and I hope you are too. So let's go check it out. For today's tour, we're taking a trip over the pond to the UK, where we will be in the world famous and historic London, England. The incredible thing about London is there's so many stadiums throughout the city. Today we'll be on the west side over by Chelsea and Kensington. Given the location, that means we will be touring Chelsea Football Club Stadium, Stamford Bridge, nicknamed the Bridge. Every photo you see today was taken by me. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I appreciate that. You can write in the comment section what you like about this stadium. And with that, let's start the tour and dive in. The bridge opened back in 1877. Chelsea didn't move in until 1905, and it currently has a capacity of 40,343. One thing I really love about this stadium is each side of the stadium was built separately, so it's unique. You kind of look at the different aspects of it, and each side's different, but I think it all overall ties together very nicely. The north and south ends of the stadiums are located behind the goals. Each one has 2 levels of seating. This is a close-up of the north end. We're still on the north end of the stadium. This is just on the outside of it, looking at the exterior. And as we go through the stadium, you'll notice how each exterior on the different sides looks different. As I just mentioned, every side of the stadium is different. And as you look around the stadium, every side of the stadium has a roof overhang, and every one of those roof overhangs is different and very unique in its own right. We are currently still over on the north side of the stadium, looking at the overhang on the north side. It looks to be pretty old, pretty basic, so keep it in mind as we go around the stadium looking at the different ones. The roof overhangs extend out pretty much to cover every seat in the stadium, but as you can see, it's like right there. And one thing I noticed when I was at the stadium, if you're in those first row seating and it was raining when I was there, you can still get wet from the rain even though you have that overhang. Staying on the north end of the stadium and moving outside, there's this structure that's just beyond the stadium. I never knew what it was until I showed up there, and that's actually the museum for the stadium. So you can see it in this photo. You have the stadium on the left side, the museum on the right side. I would definitely recommend going there, checking it out, whether you're going to a game or taking a tour of the stadium. It has a lot of interesting facts and things about the team itself and the stadium. From this view, you can see we're looking at the Matthew Harding stand. We're on the north side. This view is taken in the northeast corner of the stadium for perspective. Moving back into the stadium, we're still on the north end. This is the lower concourse level of the stadium. This is just another view of that concourse. I like it. It's simple. It's not too cramped, but it has a nice comfortable feeling to it, kind of an old school concourse. The east and west ends of the stadium have 3 tiers of seating. This is a view of the east side, and again here you can look at the roof and you can see how this roof overhang differs from the north end. This is a close-up of the east end. You can see the stands there, and then it gives you a great view of the underside of the overhang on the east end. You can see it's a translucent material and very different from the north side. This is moving outside the stadium on the east end. I mentioned it earlier that each side of the stadium was very unique. If just going back to what we just looked at on the north end on the exterior was very basic. This has a lot going on. There's a tunnel that goes through there. You can see right underneath where the sign that says East End. I think it's very cool. From here, you can see the concourse on the east side that's above the first tier of seating. I think it's interesting to compare that to other stadiums, especially NFL stadiums in the US. This is walking along that same concourse on the east side. You can see here it's very intimate, very small. Even if you're standing in line though, you're looking to get a drink or something, you can turn around, you're right there looking at the field. So I think that part's awesome. Moving back outside of the stadium, we were just talking about the east end. You can see on the left side of this, it talks about the shed end. So this is the most famous side of the stadium, so we'll be moving on to the south side next, the shed end. These are some photographs of Stamford Bridge on the wall of the shed when you're walking through it. I think it's great. It does show some old photos of the stadium. As you're walking through the stadium on the shed end, there's signs everywhere that says it's the shed. You can see here going up the steps on the left side. It lets you know you're in the shed end. This is a view of the shed from inside the stadium. Again, it's similar to the north end of the stadium. It has 2 tiers of seating. You can see the large structures that are beyond the stadium. I didn't really know what it was for a long time. Did some research and finally went there. What it is, it's hotels that are built to the side of the stadium, kind of just outside the stadium. This is on the exterior of the south end of the stadium. This is a great view of that hotel. You can see here it says hotel. You have Frankie's on the left, and that's a bar you can go into at any time you want. When I was at the bridge, we walked into the bar just to check it out, see what was going on. It was pretty dead when we went in there, but during the game, that would be going off. This is a close-up view of the south end seating. Like I said, it's very similar to the north end. These are 2 of the probably most similar ends. If you had to look at the stadium, you can look at the roof overhang again, and it's almost identical to the north end. So I would say if there's unique sides, but these 2 sides are probably the most similar. This side has the hotel though. This is a view of the concourse on the north side, upper level. It's, again, it's intimate, similar to the east side, lower level. One of the main differences, though, is you cannot watch the game when you're walking through here, which is, unfortunate. So that's kind of one drawback for this portion of it. Moving on to the west side of the stadium, this has the nicest seats in all of the stadium, and you can see here it has a row of executive boxes. They call them Millennium Suites. On the exterior of the stadium on the west side, you can see they have a statue of a former Chelsea player. I'll let you look that up. This is a view from the road on the outside of the stadium. This is on the southwest corner for perspective. This road leads from the southwest corner of the stadium out to the surrounding area of London. It's very common on stadiums in Europe, especially soccer stadiums that have names or logos or something on the seats. You can see here that it says Chelsea twice. I think it's just always a nice touch when a stadium has that. I can't talk about the west side without talking about the roof overhang. It's probably the most modern of each side. Again, it's still more of a translucent. It's similar to the north and south, but it's just kind of a little bit more modern, more grandeur than the other sides. That gives you a pretty good layout of the different sides of the stadium. Let's move in now to kind of behind the scenes. This is the press room. So this is where the coaches and players, they'll be giving interviews after the game. This is still inside the press room. This is actually on the back side of the press room, so behind where all the press sit. Moving on to the locker rooms, this is the visitors' locker room. Very basic, square shape, not a lot going on, which you would expect. Now we're going to go check out Chelsea's home changing room. I absolutely love this locker room. I think it's one of the better ones out there. It's not over the top like you'll see in some of the NFL stadiums like the Raiders, but it's not weird like AC Milan's. This is the training area located in Chelsea's locker. So the view we were just looking at, if you turn around, this is where that's located. Moving on from the locker room, I think it's natural just to show you next where the players walk out onto the pitch. So they come down this tunnel. You can see here, they walk up these steps. It takes you out. You can see the stands in the background. This is, kind of midfield. They walk out here where they sit is on the right. This is showing the tunnel that they walk out of. This is located on the east side, just to give you perspective. It's not like football though, so both teams are located on the east side. And to clear that up, when I say football, I mean American football. Obviously, some people call soccer football as well. Moving on, this is a view of where the Chelsea staff and players sit when they are playing the game. Just behind where Chelsea sits, the players, you can see this is where the press is located. I thought it was interesting. It's not like American football where the press is up in a press box high up. No, this is down low, right behind the players. The most interesting thing that I thought was they said that you can see here that there's an overhang, so the press cannot see instant replay. they can watch the videos on the screen in front of them, but it's just wild to see that compared to what goes on in American football. If you're sitting where the press is located and you turn to your right, you can see where the more or less family sections are seated. This is a view of the family sections. This is really done because you don't want drunk soccer hooligans located right next to the press. You want people laid back, not cussing, swearing a lot. So if you have kids and things like that, this is where you want to be. It's a much more family friendly area. So to contrast this, the other seating, which I thought was pretty wild, you can see here has basically these grab bars. So when you're standing up, you can grab it, hold on to, your 10 beers in. It's something to help you when you're standing and cheering for all those crazy soccer hooligans out there. Never seen that before. And this is a view in the shed end on the south side, and you can see up here, almost all that seating has grab bars. Very impressive. Something that's new to me. I don't know. I haven't been to a ton of European soccer stadiums. Maybe that's pretty common. I just went to AC Milan, San Siro. They didn't have it, so it'd be interesting in the comment sections if you guys want to comment on that. As you look around the stadium, another thing you'll notice is the lighting. There are no light towers. It's unique. I think how the lighting's layout in the stadium is very impressive and unique to the stadium. There are two video boards in the stadium on opposite corners. This is in the southeast corner. It more or less hangs from the roof of the southeast corner. This is the video board in the northwest corner. You can see here the difference. It's not hanging from the roof, it's actually above the roof. So even though the north and south sides, they're very similar, there's little subtleties like that you can see that are different. Above the roof on the west side, you can see the triangular steel members, and I think it's just, another unique thing about the stadium. You'll look above the roof, they have all this steel framing. And again, from this view, you're looking at the north side, you can see that steel framing again. It's different than the west side, and obviously other stadiums, they have steel framing, but it's not typical steel framing you would see on a stadium. And I think just little subtleties like that make the stadium really stand out. Another great feature of this stadium is all the seating is chairback seating. You'd expect that from professional sports, and all the chairs are blue. You think about University of North Carolina's football team, their stadium, it's great to have all the blue they have. It's a different color blue, it's darker, but I still think it's a great look. This stadium also has natural grass. I think every professional sports team should have natural grass. The NFL kind of shies away from that. Moving back outside the stadium, this is a walkway between the stadium on the left and the wall on the right side. This is the south side, the shed end, and it's just unique things like this that you're kind of walking around going, oh wow, this is a cool, pleasant surprise. So I love how you walk around the stadium and there's just so many different aspects and different things going on. This area is located out the side of the stadium on the southwest corner of the stadium, more or less, over by the team store. And again, it's just unique architecture that you really don't see anywhere else in the world on different stadiums. So, and it doesn't even match the rest of the stadium. So I just think, looking at things like this, just pointing out the oddities. The stadium today is a great stadium. It was renovated back in the 1990s to really bring it up to a modern stadium. You can read into the history of, European soccer and why that was done. Unfortunately, though, there's plans to build a new soccer stadium for Chelsea. I'm sure there's some people that love that, and the fans, some of those, it's going to be larger, allow more fans to go. I don't like it, though. You have a billionaire from the United States who bought the team that's doing this push. So I don't know. We'll see how the future holds, but it looks like this stadium may be going away as well. Every video I like to throw in a photo of myself at the stadium. It just shows that I was actually there. This takes us to the end of our tour. You can write in the comments section what stadium you want me to do next. Again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That helps a lot. And until next time, take care, and hopefully we'll do another fun stadium.